Entrepreneurs are, I would say, by their very nature, dreamers. We believe we can take on the world. So you need partners that are gonna come in and do more than just give you money. You need partners who are gonna tell you the honest truth, who are gonna give you the advice you need to build a strong business. I had this wacky idea that I would provide internet services to companies and people in their homes, and that one day, this is 1996, one day people would connect to the internet from their homes. Now keep in mind, I was 22 years old at the time. I had never run a business in my life. I was a sociology major at the University of Notre Dame, and so I had no experience, but I did have a big dream. So I talked to Chris. Chris advised me to put together a business plan and do all the right things. He gave me excellent mentoring. And then I went back to First Source Bank and asked for a loan. So we started as this small company. We ended up with about $46 million or so in revenue. We acquired 23 other companies. We sold that business in 1999, doing very well. And all of that from a $150,000 risk. For the past 17 years, I have continued to go back to that well, and they have never once not been there for me. They haven't always said yes, so I want to be clear about that. The times that they've said no have been just as important as the times that they've told me yes.
And I've always wanted to be the best salon in downtown. That was always my dream. It was 1983, I guess there was a recession. We were doing fine, and we were looking at not just cutting hair anymore, but the whole person. And that was going to be our focus, and we were going to be bigger. And I had the spot, I just needed the financing, and 2 banks turned me down. So I ended up with First Source. I went and talked to them. I told them I had this spot, what I needed. It was 21% interest rate in 1983. But we made it.
We've taken out numerous loans from the bank for one reason or another. I mean, when our daughters were in college, you know, we had to finance our home, okay? When we put on our pedicure chairs and everything, that's $20,000 that you just don't actually have. You have to take a loan out for that.
My parents have an excellent relationship with the bank. That's pretty much unheard of, I think, for somebody to have such a good relationship with a bank and have them believe in our business as well, especially throughout the last 5 years or so, which have been extremely tough. They've been very understanding, and they still believe in us, and I think that says a lot.
Ever since the day we got married, we wanted to own our own home, and just seemed like it was never in the cards for us, that the timing wasn't right. We had medical issues, a lot of things that kind of held us back from being able to do that. So
I had a lot of questions. We had never bought a house before. So I was calling every day, emailing him. And he always called me back and always emailed me. He was always honest. Our credit report had some errors on it. So he told me exactly how to fix them and who to contact to do that.
When we finally got this house and got the loan for it, that was a great feeling. A dream come true after 20 years of marriage. I feel like they want us to, you know, get the loan as bad as we want to get it. And that's kind of a neat feeling that you don't get at a lot of banks.
Well, we bought 40 acres of ground from Claude's father in 1940. And then we bought 2 brooder houses, and we started to raise chickens. And so we had to have some money, extra money, to build that room at that time. And so then we decided to go down to First Source. That was new in town. And so we went down there and asked them if we could borrow, I think maybe it was $10,000. And they just had no trouble. No, they just said, no, we'll be willing to lend you the money. And so we raised lots of fryers, 80,000 fryers we dressed a year and sold to stores in North Liberty, Walkerton, and South Bend. I still do my banking there, and the girls, they are so good to wait on me, and they help me with a lot of things that I don't know just exactly what to do, because it's getting harder to do business all the time at my age. with all this new stuff that's coming out. And I don't like it. I like to do it the old way. And so they are wonderful to me.
Our first hope was that that the company survived. And once we got by a point where we thought that that wasn't a risk anymore, then our plan was to become a significant orthopedic competitor in the orthopedic market. Needed to think about building our new factory and needed a bank that could carry us up to that next level. FirstSource saw the vision, saw the opportunity. Our first year, our sales were $17,000. Second year, $500,000, then $1 million, then $2 million, $3.5 million, $7.5 million. The last year I was CEO of Biomet, our annual revenues were $2.3 billion. That's billion with a B. Were it not for FirstSource Bank, Biomet wouldn't be where it is today. I think we would have survived probably, but survival and success are not exactly the same thing. With FirstSource's support, we have been able to succeed in a very complicated industry and a very complicated market. And FirstSource was always there to help, and they should take pride not just in their jobs and not just in the job the bank does, but in the companies and people they help throughout the region where FirstSource Bank does business.
My dream was to be a homeowner in 2012 when I was only faced with foreclosure and no end. And FirstSource stepped in and said where there was no hope, they gave me hope. My relationship started out with FirstSource Bank through a program called Bridges Out of Poverty that's handled through the YWCA. She worked in the collections agency. She had no interest other than to help me have another chance. So she just heard my story and she said, let me see if I can help. And she was my voice. You know, we'd be on three-way and she would speak for me. I mean, just countless hours she spent with me. And now I am a homeowner and it's reality. And I thank them.
I would think it was about 1958. So we have been customers of FirstSource for over 50 years.
We really started out as a service station, 3400 block on Western Avenue. I was working on a car there, and there comes Mr. Steele. He was going to introduce us to the First Bank. I said, I just need $1,000. I was going to buy a car, which I was going to sell again for one of my customers who was going into service. And from that day on, we started to work with FirstSource. Mr. Steele, he really looked at our business as a business that had possibility. The other bank didn't even look at our business.
Yeah, looking back, we took chances a lot of times, but by having like a partnership with FirstSource, that really helped us along. And without FirstSource, we don't know what would have happened, but anyhow, it all worked out for the best.
They know my family, they know our history, they know our business, and so that's really comforting, and it's easy to interact with them because they kind of know everything about you. They've helped me with my checking account, my savings account, my 401k, my mortgage, and they've kind of been a little bit of a sounding board for me on occasion. All the people I've come in contact with at the bank, they're proud of the bank. They're proud of being employees there. They take servicing their customers and the people they know, they take it seriously. So it's a cultural thing that goes all the way through the company.
I think lots of folks think a hometown bank has to remain a hometown bank and can't grow and can't expand its support of its customers and become a big bank and must lose its personality as a hometown bank. FirstSource has proven that that doesn't have to be the case. You can still be a hometown bank and satisfy the broader needs of your customers, business and otherwise.
The FirstSource employees are so important to this community, and entrepreneurs like me recognize that without FirstSource and their commitment to community, the things we do would not be possible. And so the work that the employees at FirstSource do on a daily basis, whether they get an opportunity to see it or not, is impacting the community. And by impacting the community, they're in fact impacting the world. The impact is undeniable.